Summary of Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Many people feel their lives are wasted, spent in anxiety and boredom rather than happiness. They may achieve material success, but still find themselves dissatisfied, wanting more. This book, Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience, offers a solution to this problem by exploring the concept of flow, a state of complete absorption in an activity that leads to optimal experience. Here are some benefits of reading this book. Understanding the psychology of happiness, the book delves into what truly satisfies people, going beyond superficial desires like wealth or status. It explains that happiness is an individual creation achieved by controlling what happens in consciousness. Discovering how to find flow in everyday life, the book provides a framework for understanding the conditions that lead to flow, such as a balance of challenge and skill, clear goals, and immediate feedback. It offers diverse examples of people finding flow in activities like work, relationships, hobbies, and intellectual pursuits. Developing skills and making meaningful contributions, engaging in flow activities not only enhances enjoyment of the present moment but also builds self-confidence and allows for skill development. This empowers individuals to make significant contributions to society. Embracing lifelong learning, the book emphasizes the importance of actively engaging with the world and continuously seeking new challenges. It encourages readers to cultivate a mindset of lifelong learning, finding joy in expanding their skills and knowledge. By understanding the principles of flow, readers can transform their lives from a state of passive existence to one filled with purpose, enjoyment, and meaning. Chapter 1. We all crave meaning in our lives. Imagine you're sitting around a campfire with a wise old friend. You're feeling lost and unfulfilled, unsure of what you want from life. Your friend, with a knowing smile, begins to tell you a story. He says, for thousands of years, humans have been seeking happiness. Even Aristotle, the great philosopher, said it was our ultimate goal. But here's the paradox: the more we directly chase happiness, the more it eludes us. It's like trying to catch a butterfly: the harder you grab, the more likely it is to flutter away. He pauses, stirring the embers with a stick, and continues. The problem is, we often look for happiness in the wrong places, in fleeting pleasures, external validation, and material possessions. We think that if we just get that promotion, buy that fancy car, or gain more followers on social media, then we'll finally be happy. But it's a never-ending cycle of desire and disappointment. These things may bring temporary satisfaction, but they don't bring lasting fulfillment. He leans closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. The secret to happiness lies in mastering our own consciousness. It's about taking control of our thoughts, feelings, and attention. Instead of being controlled by external forces, we need to learn how to shape our own experiences. He gestures towards the flames, their dancing light reflecting in his eyes. Think of it like this. Our consciousness is like a stream of energy, constantly bombarded by information and stimuli. If we don't learn how to direct that flow, our minds become chaotic and overwhelmed, leaving us feeling anxious and unfulfilled. But, if we learn to control that stream, to focus our attention on things that truly matter, we can create a sense of order and purpose in our lives. This is where flow comes in, he says, emphasizing the word with a gentle tap on your knee. Flow is a state of complete absorption in an activity where we feel challenged but capable, engaged but at ease. It's those moments when we lose track of time, forget our worries, and feel a deep sense of joy and fulfillment. Flow experiences are not passive or effortless, but they are incredibly rewarding. They build our skills, strengthen our sense of self, and help us create a life worth living. He throws another log onto the fire, the flames leaping higher. The path to a meaningful life is not easy, but it is within everyone's reach. It starts with understanding how our consciousness works and learning to control our attention. It's about finding goals that challenge us, developing skills that allow us to meet those challenges, and ultimately, creating a sense of order and harmony within ourselves. It's about learning to live in flow. As the fire crackles, you realize that your wise friend has shared a profound truth: the key to happiness lies within ourselves, in our ability to shape our own experience and find meaning in the present moment. Chapter 2. Don't be basic. The professor, with their infectious enthusiasm, sets the scene. Imagine our consciousness as a bustling city. There's a constant flow of information, sights, sounds, thoughts, feelings, all vying for attention. Without a good traffic system, this city would descend into chaos, right? That's what happens to our minds when we don't learn how to manage our consciousness. They lean forward, eyes twinkling. Now, you might be thinking, my mind feels pretty organized most of the time. But that's the clever trick. Our brains are masters of creating routines and habits, so we often operate on autopilot without realizing it. It's efficient, but it can also limit us. The professor holds up a hand, counting on their fingers. Let's break down the key elements of this city we call consciousness. First, we have attention, our psychic energy, the spotlight that illuminates different parts of our mental landscape. We can choose to focus it like a laser or let it wander aimlessly. Guess which approach leads to more fulfilling experiences? Next, we have the self, the central hub of this city, the me that experiences and interprets the world. It's shaped by everything that passes through our consciousness, memories, desires, experiences, and most importantly, the goals we choose to pursue. They tap their temple for emphasis. But here's where things get really interesting. The self also directs our attention. It decides which information is important, which goals to prioritize. So, we have this feedback loop. Attention shapes the self, and the self shapes attention. It's like a fascinating dance between the observer and the observed. Now, think about the capacity of consciousness. We only have so much attention to go around. It's a limited resource, like a budget we need to manage wisely. Some people try to cram their minds full of information, thinking more is always better. Others let external forces, the media, social pressures, the lure of instant gratification, dictate where their attention goes. Neither approach is ideal. It's about finding the sweet spot, learning to invest our attention in things that genuinely matter to us. The professor beams, like they've just revealed a hidden treasure. This is the path to building a complex self, one that's both differentiated, unique, with a strong sense of individuality, and integrated, connected to others, to larger purposes. It's about expanding our capacity for conscious experience, learning to savor the richness and complexity of life. They rise, their voice echoing with passion. Don't let your consciousness be basic, limited, reactive, controlled by external forces. Take charge. Learn to manage your attention, shape yourself, and cultivate a life rich with meaning and purpose. That, my friends, is the true potential of the human mind. As the conversation ends, you're left with a profound sense of possibility. You realize that understanding the anatomy of consciousness is not just an intellectual exercise, it's a journey towards self-mastery and a more fulfilling life. Chapter 3, Find Your Flow. Imagine yourself lost in a bustling city, feeling overwhelmed by the noise, the crowds, and the sheer amount of stimulation bombarding your senses. You long for a sense of peace, clarity, and control amidst the chaos. Now, envision yourself stepping into a tranquil garden hidden within the city. As you enter, the noise fades, replaced by the gentle sounds of nature. You feel a sense of calm wash over you, and your mind begins to settle. This, my friend, is the essence of Chapter 3, Enjoyment and the Quality of Life, from Flow, the Psychology of Optimal Experience. It's about finding that inner sanctuary of peace and focus amidst the demands of everyday life. The chapter opens by reminding us that we all crave enjoyment. It's a fundamental human drive, just as powerful as the need for food or shelter. But here's the catch: enjoyment is not something that simply happens to us. It's something we create through our actions and the way we direct our attention. So, how do we cultivate enjoyment? This is where the concept of flow takes center stage. Think of flow as that state of complete absorption you experience when you're deeply engaged in an activity that perfectly matches your skills and challenges. You're so focused that all distractions melt away, time seems to distort, and you feel a sense of effortless control and joy. But here's the crucial point: flow is not about passively going with the flow. It requires effort, skill, and a willingness to push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. The chapter uses a powerful analogy to illustrate this point, the experience of rock climbers. As they scale a sheer rock face, every move demands their full attention, testing their physical and mental limits. There's no room for distraction, no time for self-doubt. They're completely immersed in the present moment, striving to overcome the challenges before them. What makes this experience so enjoyable, even though it's physically and mentally demanding? The answer lies in the structure of the activity itself. Rock climbing, like any flow activity, provides clear goals. Climbers know exactly what they need to do, reach the top of the rock face. Immediate feedback. With every move, they receive direct feedback on their progress, a firm grip, a successful maneuver, or a slip that forces them to adjust their strategy. A balance of challenges and skills. The difficulty of the climb is matched to the climber's abilities, pushing them to their limits without overwhelming them. This structure creates a sense of order and control within the climber's consciousness. Their attention is completely focused on the task at hand, leaving no room for worries or distractions. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm not a rock climber. How can I find flow in my everyday life? The good news is that flow can be experienced in any activity that provides the right balance of challenges and skills, clear goals, and immediate feedback. The chapter offers examples of people finding flow in a wide range of activities, from playing music and writing poetry to working on a challenging project at work or engaging in a deep conversation with a friend. The key is to approach these activities with an intentional mindset, seeking out challenges that stretch our abilities and finding ways to create structure and focus within our chosen pursuits. The chapter then dives deeper into the benefits of flow experiences, emphasizing how they contribute to a richer and more meaningful life. Here are some key takeaways. Flow makes the present moment more enjoyable. It allows us to escape the anxieties and boredom that often plague our everyday lives. Flow builds self-confidence. By repeatedly overcoming challenges, we develop a sense of mastery and belief in our own abilities. Flow helps us develop skills. It pushes us to learn and grow, expanding our repertoire of capabilities. Flow leads to greater complexity of self. This means becoming more differentiated, unique, with a strong sense of individuality, and integrated, connected to others and to larger purposes. The chapter concludes with a powerful message. The quality of life is not determined by what happens to us, but by how we experience what happens to us. We have the power to shape our own enjoyment by actively seeking out flow experiences and cultivating the conditions that make flow possible. So, if you're feeling lost in the chaos of everyday life, remember that the path to a more fulfilling and enjoyable existence lies within your grasp. It starts with understanding the principles of flow, and then actively applying them to the activities that matter most to you. Chapter 4, Developing Your Flow. Imagine a vast, uncharted wilderness. It's full of potential, but also daunting and disorienting. To navigate it successfully, you need a map, a compass, and the skills to use them. That's precisely what Chapter 4, The Conditions of Flow, provides, a guide to understanding and cultivating the flow experience. The chapter begins by acknowledging that flow experiences can occur spontaneously. Remember the exhilarating feeling of being completely absorbed in a game as a child? Or the sense of effortless creativity you might have experienced while working on a project you were passionate about? Those were glimpses of flow. But relying solely on chance encounters with flow is like hoping to stumble upon a hidden treasure without a map. This chapter equips us with the tools to consciously create conditions that make flow more likely. It starts by exploring the characteristics of activities that are particularly conducive to flow, what the author calls flow activities. Think of them as trails already blazed through the wilderness of experience. These activities share several key features. They have clear goals and rules. This provides structure and direction, like a map guiding us through unfamiliar terrain. They provide immediate feedback. We know how well we're doing, allowing us to adjust our approach and refine our skills. They offer a balance of challenges and skills. The activity is neither too easy, leading to boredom, nor too difficult, leading to anxiety. It's that sweet spot where we're fully engaged, stretching our capabilities without feeling overwhelmed. The chapter then delves into specific examples of flow activities, drawing a fascinating connection between seemingly disparate pursuits. Whether it's the physical mastery of a skilled athlete, the creative expression of an artist, the intellectual immersion of a scientist, or the social engagement of a close friendship, the underlying principles of flow remain constant. Here are a few highlights from the chapter's exploration of flow activities. The transformative power of flow activities. Flow activities provide a sense of discovery. They transport us into new realms of experience, pushing us to explore uncharted territories within ourselves and the world around us. They push us to higher levels of performance. The inherent challenge of flow activities drives us to refine our skills and strive for excellence. They lead to previously undreamed of states of consciousness. By fully engaging our attention and pushing our boundaries, we unlock new levels of awareness and insight. The importance of the autotelic personality. This section introduces the concept of the autotelic personality, a personality type that is particularly adept at finding flow. These individuals possess certain traits that make them more likely to experience flow in a variety of situations. These traits include curiosity, a deep-seated desire to explore and understand the world around them. Persistence, a willingness to persevere in the face of challenges, to keep striving even when progress is slow or setbacks occur. Low self-centeredness, they're less concerned with external validation or self-promotion, allowing them to focus more fully on the activity itself. The chapter emphasizes that these traits are not fixed. We can cultivate them through conscious effort and practice, becoming more autotelic over time. Flow and culture. This section explores the fascinating interplay between flow and culture. Different cultures create different opportunities for flow, shaping the values and activities that are most likely to lead to optimal experiences. The chapter highlights the importance of finding a balance between individual pursuits of flow and the well-being of the larger society. Flow should not come at the expense of others. It should ideally contribute to a more harmonious and fulfilling society as a whole. Flow and personal growth. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the transformative power of flow experiences. By repeatedly engaging in flow activities, we build a stronger and more complex self. This growth is characterized by differentiation. We develop unique skills and perspectives, becoming more distinct individuals. Integration. We connect more deeply with others and with larger purposes, finding a sense of belonging and meaning within a larger whole. The chapter's message is clear: flow is not just about fleeting moments of enjoyment. It's a pathway to a richer, more fulfilling, and more meaningful life. By understanding the conditions that make flow possible, and by actively cultivating those conditions, we can transform our everyday experiences into sources of growth and joy. Chapter 5: The Body in Flow. Imagine you're standing at a grand feast, surrounded by tables laden with exotic delicacies. You see vibrant colors, smell tantalizing aromas, hear the clinking of glasses, and feel the warmth of the room. Yet, somehow, you're unable to truly savor the experience. Your senses feel dull, your attention scattered, and the potential for enjoyment remains untapped. This chapter is about awakening our senses to the richness of life's experiences. It's about learning to appreciate the simple yet profound pleasures our bodies can provide, from the exhilaration of physical activity to the subtle delights of taste and sound. The chapter opens with a reminder that our bodies are not merely vehicles for transporting our minds, they are integral to our experience of the world. Our senses are the gateways through which we perceive reality, and the quality of our experience depends on how well we cultivate and utilize those senses. The problem is that we often take our senses for granted, allowing them to become dulled by routine and distraction. We eat without truly tasting, listen without really hearing, and move through the world without fully appreciating the sensations our bodies provide. This chapter is a call to reclaim the joy of embodied experience. It invites us to approach our senses with a renewed sense of curiosity and intentionality, to fine-tune them so they become instruments of flow. Here's how the chapter guides us on this journey. Flow and physical activity. This section explores the deep connection between physical activity and flow experiences. It highlights how activities like sports, dance, and even simple acts like walking can provide the ideal conditions for flow. Clear goals and rules. Sports have well-defined objectives and rules, providing a structure that guides our actions and focuses our attention. Immediate feedback. We receive constant feedback on our performance, whether it's the feeling of a perfectly executed move or the disappointment of a missed shot. A balance of challenges and skills. We strive to improve our abilities, constantly seeking out new challenges that push us to our limits without overwhelming us. The chapter emphasizes that flow in physical activity is not just about achieving peak performance, it's about the intrinsic enjoyment of movement, the feeling of our bodies working in harmony with our minds. Cultivating flow through the senses. This section goes beyond the obvious connection between flow and physical exertion, exploring how we can cultivate flow through all of our senses. It highlights examples like music. Listening to music can be a deeply immersive experience, transporting us into a world of sound and emotion. But to truly experience flow in music, we need to go beyond passive listening. We need to actively engage with the music, paying attention to its nuances, its structure, and its emotional impact. Food, eating is often reduced to a purely utilitarian act, fueling our bodies. But when we approach food with mindfulness and intention, it can become a source of profound enjoyment. Developing a discriminating palate, learning to appreciate different flavors and textures, and savoring the experience of eating can transform a mundane act into a flow activity. The chapter emphasizes that the key to finding flow in sensory experiences is to approach them with an active and attentive mindset, seeking out challenges and opportunities for growth within each sensory domain. The wisdom of Eastern traditions. This section delves into the rich wisdom of Eastern traditions like Hatha Yoga, which emphasizes the interconnectedness of mind and body. It highlights how practices like yoga can help us develop greater awareness of our bodies. We become more attuned to our physical sensations, learning to listen to the subtle signals our bodies send. Control our attention. We train our minds to focus on the present moment, to block out distractions, and to direct our psychic energy more effectively. Achieve a state of harmonious balance. We cultivate a sense of inner peace and equilibrium, which lays the foundation for flow experiences. The chapter draws parallels between the principles of flow and the goals of Eastern disciplines, suggesting that these ancient practices offer valuable insights into how to cultivate optimal experiences. The importance of balance and moderation. The chapter concludes with a crucial message about balance and moderation. While pursuing flow through our senses can enrich our lives, it's essential to avoid extremes. Overindulgence can lead to addiction and diminish our capacity for enjoyment. Asceticism can deprive us of the rich experiences our bodies can offer. The goal is to find a harmonious middle path, a way of engaging with our senses that enhances our lives without becoming a source of imbalance or harm. This chapter's message is that our bodies are not merely vessels for our minds, they are sources of profound pleasure and potential. By learning to fine-tune our senses, to approach physical and sensory experiences with intentionality and skill, we can unlock a world of flow and enrich the quality of our lives. Chapter 6. Retrain your brain. Imagine our minds as sprawling gardens, teeming with potential but often overrun with weeds of distraction and tangled vines of aimless thought. Chapter 6. The flow of thought guides us in cultivating these mental landscapes, transforming them into flourishing spaces where ideas bloom and the flow of thought runs clear and strong. The chapter begins by acknowledging that, left untended, our minds tend towards chaos. Without intentional cultivation, our thoughts scatter, our attention drifts, and we become passive consumers of information rather than active creators of meaning. This chapter empowers us to become mindful gardeners of our minds. It provides tools and techniques to focus our attention. Sharpen our thinking. Unlock the inherent enjoyment of mental activity. Here's how the chapter guides us on this transformative journey. The power of memory. The chapter emphasizes that memory is not just a passive repository of information, it's a dynamic tool for shaping our experience. When we cultivate our memories intentionally, we gain a greater sense of control over our thoughts. Instead of being bombarded by random thoughts, we can summon the information we need when we need it. A richer understanding of the world. By connecting new experiences to our existing knowledge, we build a more intricate and nuanced understanding of ourselves and our surroundings. The chapter provides practical guidance on how to improve our memories, highlighting the importance of identifying our interests. Focusing on subjects that genuinely intrigue us makes learning more enjoyable and effortless. Active engagement. Rather than passively absorbing information, we should actively seek out connections, make comparisons, and draw our own conclusions. Regular practice. Like any skill, memory improves with consistent use and exercise. The lost art of conversation. The chapter laments the decline of meaningful conversation in modern society. We've become so focused on efficiency and information exchange that we've lost sight of the joy of engaging in open-ended, exploratory dialogue. The chapter encourages us to reclaim conversation as a flow activity, emphasizing the importance of active listening, truly engaging with what others are saying, seeking to understand their perspectives and experiences. Thoughtful contribution, sharing our own insights and experiences in a way that fosters genuine connection and intellectual stimulation. Creating a space for shared exploration. Conversation becomes most enjoyable when it's a collaborative journey of discovery, where participants build upon each other's ideas and insights. Finding flow in symbolic systems. The chapter delves into the world of symbolic systems, history, science, and philosophy, revealing their potential as rich sources of flow experiences. While these disciplines might seem daunting at first glance, the chapter emphasizes that we don't need to become experts to enjoy them. The key is to approach them with curiosity, a willingness to explore unfamiliar territories and to question assumptions. An active mindset. Instead of passively absorbing information, we should actively engage with ideas, seeking to understand their implications and to draw our own conclusions. A focus on personal meaning. We should select topics that resonate with our interests and values, making the learning process more engaging and relevant to our lives. The joy of lifelong learning. The chapter concludes with a powerful message about the transformative power of lifelong learning. By embracing a mindset of continuous exploration and growth, we can turn our minds into inexhaustible sources of flow and fulfillment. Lifelong learning is not about accumulating credentials or mastering a fixed body of knowledge, it's about cultivating a love of learning for its own sake, finding joy in the process of discovery and the expansion of our understanding. Remaining open to new perspectives and challenges, embracing the unknown as an opportunity for growth rather than a source of fear. Transforming our minds into dynamic, ever-evolving gardens of thought, where curiosity and the pursuit of meaning bloom throughout our lives. This chapter reminds us that our minds are not merely tools for processing information, they are the wellsprings of our creativity, our joy, and our sense of purpose. By learning to cultivate the flow of thought, we unlock the full potential of our mental landscapes and create lives that are both meaningful and deeply enjoyable. Chapter 7. Treat your work like a game. Imagine the drudgery of a long workday, the soul-crushing monotony of repetitive tasks, the feeling of time stretching endlessly until the clock finally strikes quitting time. Now envision a different experience of work, one where challenges spark excitement, skills meet opportunities, and a sense of purpose drives even the most mundane tasks. This is the Vision. Chapter 7, Work as Flow, presents, transforming work from a necessary evil into a source of fulfillment and flow. The chapter opens with a historical perspective on work, acknowledging its often negative connotations. Throughout history, work has been associated with toil, burden, and even punishment. The Industrial Revolution, with its emphasis on efficiency and mechanization, further exacerbated this perception, turning many jobs into repetitive, dehumanizing routines. However, the chapter argues that work doesn't have to be a soul-crushing experience. It can be a source of profound satisfaction, even joy, when approached with the right mindset and strategies. Here's how the chapter guides us in transforming our experience of work. The power of autotelic workers. The chapter introduces the concept of the autotelic personality, individuals who possess an innate ability to find enjoyment in almost any activity, even those that others find tedious or unpleasant. These individuals demonstrate that flow is not solely dependent on external circumstances but can be cultivated internally, even within the most uninspiring work environments. The chapter showcases examples of autotelic workers, like Joe the welder, who found joy in creating intricate water and light displays in his otherwise mundane job at a railroad plant. These individuals teach us valuable lessons. The importance of finding challenges, even in seemingly monotonous tasks. By setting personal goals and seeking out opportunities for skill development, we can transform any job into a more engaging experience. The power of focusing our attention on the present moment. By immersing ourselves in the task at hand, we can minimize distractions and cultivate a sense of flow. The ability to find meaning and purpose in our work, even if it's not inherently glamorous or prestigious. By connecting our work to a larger goal or value, we can infuse it with a sense of significance. Designing jobs for flow. While not everyone possesses an autotelic personality, the chapter argues that jobs themselves can be redesigned to make them more conducive to flow experiences. This involves providing clear goals and immediate feedback. Workers need to understand what they are striving for and how well they are progressing. Offering a balance of challenges and skills. Jobs should be challenging enough to engage workers' abilities but not so overwhelming as to induce anxiety or frustration. Creating opportunities for autonomy and creativity. When workers have a sense of control over their work and can express their creativity, they are more likely to find it enjoyable. The chapter highlights examples like the profession of surgery, which, despite its inherent demands and pressures, offers many of the characteristics conducive to flow. Clear goals. Surgeons have specific objectives for each procedure. High challenges and skills. Surgery requires a high level of expertise and precision, providing a constant source of challenge and skill development. Immersive focus. The operating room environment helps minimize distractions, allowing surgeons to concentrate fully on the task at hand. The paradox of work and leisure. The chapter acknowledges a curious paradox in modern society. While people often report feeling more engaged and fulfilled at work, they still express a desire for more leisure time. This paradox arises from the societal perception of work as an obligation, something we have to do rather than something we choose to do. The chapter challenges this perception, arguing that work can be a source of profound enjoyment and growth when it aligns with our interests and values. The key is to find ways to bridge the gap between our personal goals and the demands of our jobs, whether through seeking out work that aligns with our passions. This might involve a career change or finding ways to incorporate our interests into our current roles. Restructuring our current jobs to make them more engaging. We can set personal challenges, seek out opportunities for learning and skill development, or find ways to connect our work to a larger purpose. Changing our attitude towards work. By shifting our perspective from seeing work as a burden to seeing it as an opportunity for growth and fulfillment, we can transform our experience. The importance of finding flow in work. The chapter concludes with a powerful message about the importance of finding flow in our work. Not only does it make work more enjoyable, but it also has ripple effects throughout our lives. Increased productivity and creativity. When we are engaged in our work, we are more likely to produce high-quality results. Enhanced sense of purpose and meaning. Work can provide a sense of contribution and accomplishment, enriching our lives beyond the workplace. Improved overall well-being. When we find fulfillment in our work, it positively impacts our mood, our relationships, and our overall sense of life satisfaction. The chapter challenges us to rethink our relationship with work, to see it not as a necessary evil but as a potential source of flow and fulfillment. By cultivating the principles of flow, clear goals, immediate feedback, a balance of challenges and skills, we can transform our jobs into engaging and rewarding experiences. Chapter 8. Connect with your community. However, as awesome as it is to play games with yourself in your head, growth doesn't happen in a bubble. And because our days often necessitate us being alone for the purpose of completing our work or solving a problem, it's easy to feel isolated. Likewise, daily commutes on busy trains can leave us feeling alone in a crowd and make it harder to connect with others. This is not only toxic to our mental health, it also impinges on our personal growth. We can remedy these affects by seeking out the company of good friends, families, and neighbors, and in so doing, cultivate support systems that will help keep us positive and on track. Spending time with people who love us and have our best interest at heart will bring us out of our own heads and nurture our self-esteem, compassion, and happiness. Friends and family can also help us feel more connected to the world around us. For example, we can work together to solve puzzles as part of a family game night or take up a new hobby with a friend. By inviting others to share our experiences, we increase not only our learning skills but our social skills as well, and in so doing make our lives bigger, brighter, and happier. And as we invest in our relationships, we can even have a positive influence on others. Because while we work to improve our own lives, we can encourage our friends to be their best selves as well and undertake a journey of improvement together. Chapter 9: Increase Focus, Decrease Anxiety. Whether we struggle with clinical anxiety or not, each and every one of us will experience anxiety at some point in our lives. Whether we're nervously awaiting the outcome of a stressful situation or we're wrestling with a loss, sadly we're all guaranteed to wrestle with doubts, worries, and intrusive thoughts. And although we've all probably heard it a million times, the way we choose to handle these moments will make all the difference in the world. However, that's often more easily said than done, so let's take a look at a few practical strategies we can employ to keep from getting overwhelmed. One of the first and most important things we can do is to surrender our egos and trust in our ability to handle the situation at hand. That might not seem possible when we're our most emotional and overwhelmed, but that's exactly the moment where we have to reassure ourselves by mentally cataloging the times we've gotten through stressful situations before. Whether we did so by asking for help, relying on a friend, or brainstorming a way to solve our problems, it's critical to bolster our confidence in ourselves and remember that we can get through it. Likewise, we need to be mindful of our environments. Although it often seems that negative circumstances occur just to spite us, ever had your computer crash 30 seconds before you had to submit important? We have to try and reduce our stress levels by being realistic. It can also help to minimize our anxiety by focusing on our surroundings. If you find yourself succumbing to an anxiety attack, try to stay present by focusing on something you can feel, hear, touch, or see. By redirecting your attention, you can free up a portion of your mind to help yourself complete a task or get through a situation. And finally, use your negative experience to generate a positive solution. We all want to give up in the face of difficult situations. Sometimes, we feel that it's just so much easier and would reduce so much stress. But although it might be tempting to just give up and go to bed instead of pulling an all-nighter to study for that test, in the long run, we'll probably be a lot more stressed if we fail. Giving up also creates a pattern of failure and disappointment in ourselves that's detrimental to our self-esteem. So, instead, look for ways you can motivate yourself to power through difficult situations. Although it may mean you don't get what you want at the moment, remember instant gratification versus pleasure. Visualizing your success after you pass that test can inspire you to come up with new ways to keep yourself awake and retaining information. And no matter what your circumstances are, focusing on creative solutions instead of your negative experience can reduce your anxiety and retrain your brain. Chapter 10: Discover your purpose through actionable goals. A goal is a dream with legs. No one seems to know who came up with that phrase, but it's often used as an inspirational tagline, and I happen to think it's a pretty good one. Because while it's great to have dreams, unless your dream has a deadline and actionable steps you can take to make it come true, it's going to remain static and unaccomplished. That's why it's only by giving legs to your dreams that you can bring purpose and meaning to your life. And in order to make that happen, you need to start by establishing a goal. Ask yourself what you want to accomplish and then identify what you need to do to make it happen. But don't stop at creating to-do lists. Although lists are an awesome way to organize your thoughts and chart progress, if you stop at that step, you'll remain an armchair activist, someone who talks and writes about what they're going to do, but never actually does anything. So, avoid this trap by giving yourself practical steps and feasible deadlines for when you will complete your goal. It might also help to plan your small goals around the formulation of one overarching goal or life theme. Maybe your small goal for right now is to improve your own life by winning your battle with addiction, procrastination, or poor time management. But your life goal could be to become an activist and inspire other people to conquer their own struggles. But no matter what it is, once you determine your life theme, every small goal you set will directly contribute to the completion of that overarching goal. In fact, that's exactly what Malcolm X did. After growing up in poverty, he followed the life pattern of the many people who surrounded him and made a living through dealing drugs. This eventually landed him in jail, and that's when he decided to turn his life around. With unlimited, empty time on his hands, he dove into reading and discovered the restorative power of reflecting on what he'd read and applying that knowledge to his own life. Through this process, he developed the self-awareness that later identified his life theme. He wanted to become a civil rights activist and help others. Finding that goal changed Malcolm X's life. How will you change yours? Chapter 11, Final Summary. Finding your flow involves a calculated effort at improving your life through a pattern of positive choices. By choosing enjoyment over instant gratification, identifying your life theme, sharpening your focus, and connecting with your community, you can improve your mental clarity and overall satisfaction with life. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and please remember to subscribe to receive notification of upcoming recordings. See you in next video.